My husband and I spent a wonderful 5 days in Athens, Greece. We navigated the city, saw the amazing sights, and learned about the culture, the food, and the people. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how to plan a trip to Athens, Greece, what you need to know before visiting Athens for the first time. Hi everyone, I'm Antoinette and welcome back to my channel. At Frolic and Courage, I like to help you plan well, have fun, and travel the world. Today, y'all, I'm helping you plan well for your first trip to Athens, Greece. So let's get straight to it. Why should you visit Athens, Greece, and what is the history of Athens? Athens, Greece stands as an irresistible destination for travelers seeking a rich tapestry of history, culture, and scenic beauty. It is also the perfect central location to visit the many famous Greek islands. Located in the picturesque Attica region of southeastern Europe, Athens is celebrated as the cradle of Western civilization, offering visitors iconic landmarks like the Parthenon and the Temple of Olympian Zeus. What you need to know before visiting Athens is, despite economic challenges, Athens thrives with its vibrant markets, cozy tavernas, flourishing artisan scene, and delicious cuisine. Athens promises a captivating blend of ancient wonders and modern charm, so while you're there, you'll see antiquities right next to modern structures. It's really cool. To plan well for a trip to Athens, Greece, you need to know the city has multiple ways of saying its name. In the US, we say Athens, but it's actually written Athena in Greece. As you're navigating the city, addresses might reference the city of Athena instead of Athens. The names are interchangeable. The city of Athens, Greece derives its name from the ancient goddess Athena, who was a central figure in Greek mythology. According to the legend, Athena and Poseidon, the god of the sea, competed for patronage over the city. Athena won the contest by presenting the city with the olive tree, a symbol of peace and prosperity. In honor of Athena's victory, the city was named Athens, and the olive tree became a symbol closely associated with the city. And olives are definitely something you need to try while you're visiting Athens. Athena was known as the goddess of wisdom, courage, strategy, warfare, and arts and crafts, and was celebrated for her intelligence, strength, and strategic thinking, all qualities that are fitting for the city today. Athens follows the Eastern European Time, or EET, which is 7 hours ahead of the East Coast of the US and 10 hours ahead of the West Coast Pacific Time. If you're looking on how to plan a trip to Athens, Greece, one thing you need to know before visiting Athens is how to get there. One question you might have is, do I need a visa to visit Athens, Greece as an American citizen? And no, you don't. A visa is not required for US citizens. And typically, US citizens can stay in Greece for up to 90 days within a 180-day period without a visa for tourism purposes. If you're not from the US, definitely check your country's requirements. In Athens, Greece, the major airport is Athens International Airport, also known as Eleftherios Venizelos International Airport, ATH. It is the primary gateway for international and domestic flights to and from Athens, and where you will likely fly into upon arrival. As for train stations, the main one in Athens is the Larissa station, or Stathmos Larissus, which serves as a hub for both national and international rail connections, if traveling by land. Another way you can travel into Athens is by sea, the port city of Piraeus, which connects Athens to destinations beyond. It is also where cruise ships and ferries are located. Whether you arrive by air, land, or sea, let's talk about the best time to visit Athens, the weather, and what you should pack. What is the best time of year to visit Athens in terms of weather and crowds? Athens has a Mediterranean climate with hot, dry summers and mild winters, making it the perfect weather for me when I travel. The best time to visit Athens, Greece is between March and May, and from September to November. August is a holiday month, so restaurants and shops may be closed, and it's also hot, so try to avoid August if you can. The rainy season is November to March, but there are deals to be had if you travel during those months. There are pretty mild temperatures year-round, like a higher low of 56 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter, 68-53 in spring, 90-73 in summer, and 74-60 in the fall. Athens receives little rain about 5 days a month from November to March, and year-round it helps to pack a light jacket for the evenings and the mornings when it's the chilliest. No matter when you visit, Always research the weather during your travel dates and pack the appropriate clothing. I packed some sturdy shoes with a good grip for walking, and the terrain changes there, so be mindful of that. I also packed a light jacket as well as jeans and something nice for a nicer restaurant that we're going to. Other than that, it's pretty casual. I would avoid wearing heels in Athens because the terrain changes and it's kind of treacherous. We traveled in early October and the temperature was perfect. But what months are you planning your trip to Athens? Will it be a cruise or a land adventure? Let me know in the comments down below. We flew into Athens Airport and stayed during the fall, and it was beautiful. Now that you know more about Athens, how to get there, and the best time to visit, let's now talk about currency and money matters. If you're gonna travel, you gotta have a little money on you, right? One thing you might ask yourself is, what is the local currency in Greece and where can I exchange money? The currency in Greece is the euro. You can exchange money at home through your local bank, through AAA, or at an ATM at the airport. We like to use the ATM at the airport, but you can also exchange money at local banks. That's cash, but are credit cards widely accepted in Athens? Credit cards are widely accepted in major establishments, and we never had an issue paying with our credit cards at all. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, it was all accepted, but always check before you buy something if your credit card is accepted. And also check your credit cards to see if your bank will charge a foreign transaction fee or not, and plan accordingly. It's a good idea to have some cash on hand for smaller businesses, taxis, and markets. Nothing larger than a 20-euro note, because then some people may not be able to break the change. And if asked to convert your credit card bill from US currency, always decline the conversion because banks charge a higher fee to convert it on top of the exchange rate, and it's not worth it. Always pay in euros, the local currency. And what is the cost of traveling to Athens, especially in terms of accommodation and dining? We found Athens to be incredibly affordable, especially after visiting cities like Paris or London. For both my husband and I, our meals were around 25 to 40 euros per a large hearty meal, and because we traveled during the fall month of October, our accommodation prices were less than the peak summer months. Matter of fact, we actually booked one of the best rooms in the hotel we stayed at a very reasonable price, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in this video. Another piece of critical information you need to plan well for your trip to Athens is learning more about the language. The official language of Athens is Greek, and while many people in the city and tourism industry speak English, learning a few basic Greek phrases can enhance your experience and interactions with locals because it's a sign of respect, you know? As you are learning how to plan a trip to Athens, Greece, one question you may have after learning this piece of information is, how do I greet and interact with locals if I don't speak Greek? That was actually one of my concerns because I've never had a conversation in full-on Greek ever in my life, so I took the time to learn these few phrases that I'm going to share with you. You can greet people with a smile and say kalimera, or good morning, kalinikta, which is good evening, or yasso, which means hello. You can say yamas as you're cheering your drink, or efaristo, which means thank you. Those are just a few phrases to help you speak Greek on your trip. Also note, the Greek language uses Greek symbols, which are different from the Latin-based language characters that use a majority of the same letters as we do in the US. And if you're part of a fraternity or sorority, you know what I mean by those Greek letters. When trying to navigate in the city to destinations, restaurants, shopping, etc., using a digital map, it may take a few seconds to translate the words to English. If it doesn't, a majority of the street signs have English spelling underneath. And even then, if they still don't, then it helps to recognize the symbols on your map versus what you see in the screen, and just match up the shapes and you know you're going in the right direction. To be extra prepared, you can download a language translation app to use on your trip. I personally use Google Translate, which can quickly translate text, voice, and image prompts to English or any language of your choosing. It's free and it works really, really well. I also downloaded an offline version of the map of Athens so that if I'm disconnected or can't get to Wi-Fi or my service is down, I will always have a way to get around and to communicate. Just remember, those are extra precautions. All of the menus and literature that we read during our trip had English translations, and we had no problems communicating or reading or navigating around the city. So, we're talking about how to plan a trip to Athens, Greece, and what you need to know before visiting Athens. Let's talk about accommodations. One of the questions I had was, where is the best place to stay in Athens? Well, the most popular and historical neighborhoods of Athens are located in the city center: Monastiraki, Syntagma, Plaka, Acropolis, and Thysio. Those neighborhoods are centrally located and are great places to stay for first-time visitors to Athens. And I recommend staying in any of these neighborhoods. I personally stayed at the Editor Hotel, a boutique property in Monastiraki because it was centrally located, within walking distance to great restaurants, near the flea market, a 15 to 17-minute walk to the Acropolis and museum, and less than a 5-minute walk to the Monastiraki metro and train stations that will take you to and from the airport and connect you all throughout the city. You can also book Airbnbs in Greece as well if you don't want to stay at a hotel. But if you do want to stay in a hotel, you might ask yourself, what are the best hotels with an Acropolis view? To be completely honest, those hotels tend to be priced at a higher price point, and a lot of them offer rooftop dining views as opposed to views directly from your hotel. But I've got a list for you. Check out the Electra Palace Athens, the Herodian Hotel, Athens West Hotel, and the King George Hotel. I'll put links in the description box down below so you can compare prices and see what the room is like. Another important tip if you need to plan well for your trip to Athens is learning how to get around. How do I get from the Athens International Airport to the city center? There are multiple ways that you can do that. You can take the metro, the bus, or a taxi, and it'll take you about 45 minutes to 1 hour. It's pretty simple and pretty easy. And once you're there, what is the best way to get around the city? Is it public transportation? Do you take a taxi? Do you walk? And honestly, Athens has an extensive public transportation system, including the metro, buses, and trams. You can buy a single ticket or a multi-day transportation pass for convenience. But honestly, walking is one of the best ways to get around. Does Athens, Greece have an Uber or Lyft? And Athens has Uber, no Lyft, and it's not your typical Uber experience. You want to download the Free Now app because taxis are a great way to get around Athens on a budget. Because this topic is so important, I did an entire video dedicated to how to get around Athens on a budget, which goes over the transportation tickets and passes, costs, maps, and the best ways to get around with detailed step-by-step instructions. So definitely check that out in my How to Plan a Trip to Athens playlist at the end of this video. Now let's talk about activities and attractions. What are the must-visit historical sites and landmarks in Athens, like the Acropolis and the Parthenon? What can I see when I'm in Athens? Athens is rich in history and boasts iconic sites like the Acropolis and the Parthenon, the ancient Agora, the Erechtheion. Plan your visits and consider getting a combined ticket, which gives you access to multiple sites over a certain number of days. I dedicated an entire video to the Acropolis talking about tickets, prices, how to get reduced price or even free admission, and whether or not the Acropolis Museum is worth it. Don't forget to check that out in my Planning a Trip to Athens playlist. You don't want to miss it. In addition, the National Archaeological Museum showcases a vast collection of ancient Greek artifacts, while the Temple of Olympian Zeus and the Panathenaic Stadium offer further insights into Athens' illustrious past. You may also want to know, is Athens, Greece near a beach? Yes, the Athens Riviera is accessible by tram. Now, are there any other day trip options from Athens that are worth considering? Absolutely! There are trips you can take by land or sea, and consider taking day trips from Athens to nearby destinations. There are trips on land you can take to the Athens Riviera, to Delphi, to Thessaloniki or Thessalonians if you're familiar with the Bible, and Cape Sunion. Most notably, you can take day trips to the Greek islands, so consider a day trip to one of the over 6,000 Greek islands, just an hour or two boat ride from Athens. You can check out the Visit Greece page to explore what each island has to offer at visitgreece.gr/islands. Some notable islands to look into are the islands of Crete, Naxos, Hydra, Aina, and we visited Agistri, Aina, and swam outside of Moni in one day trip. And if you want to check that out, check out my Best Day in Athens, Greece vlog. Continuing with how to plan a trip to Athens, Greece, what you need to know before visiting Athens is the food and drink are amazing. As you're planning your trip to Athens, you may ask yourself, what is the typical tipping etiquette for restaurants and other services? Well, tipping is appreciated but not obligatory. Leaving a 1 to 3 euro tip in restaurants and for good service is a common practice, if you feel that it's necessary. Is the tap water safe to drink in Athens? And yes, the tap water in Athens is generally safe to drink, but bottled water is readily available if you prefer. And if you're visiting the islands, I hear that bottled water is the way to go, but that's not so much so in Athens. You can drink the tap water. And what are some recommended authentic Greek dishes and where can I find them? For the local cuisine, you definitely want to try traditional Greek dishes like moussaka, souvlaki, gyros, and Greek salads, horiatiki. Don't forget to also enjoy the local olives. There are actually a lot of recommended dishes to try, so much so that I created an entire video dedicated to the best foods to try, where to find them, and other helpful restaurant recommendations like the tipping culture. It's called How I Found Some of the Best Food in Athens, Greece, and the link is in the description box below and in the Planning a Trip to Athens playlist. I'll also link my blog in the description box below so you can read through all this information that I'm giving you, so you don't have to frantically write it down or take notes unless you want to. I have my blog link there for ease of access. What you also need to know about planning a trip to Athens is there is a lot of seating outdoors in the alley. That is totally normal. Since the weather is nice, people like to enjoy meals outside if possible, so finding restaurant seats in the alleyway is a common experience. So are multi-level businesses. So if you go to a restaurant, you can possibly sit on the 3rd floor of the establishment or the 2nd floor or on the street or ground floor. Don't be surprised if your GPS takes you to a restaurant that's actually kind of underground. The entrance is below street level, almost like a basement. It might look sketchy, but it's completely legit. And the same goes for shops. Watch your steps so you don't fall down those stairs. Speaking of safety, is Athens safe for tourists? Athens is generally safe for tourists, but like any major city, be cautious of pickpocketing and keep an eye on your belongings. Pack light, pack tight, and mind your bags, especially in crowded areas like the metro stations and train stations. And the same with health precautions. There really are none. You don't need any vaccinations to go visit Greece. Now that you're equipped with essential information for planning your trip to Athens, Greece, let's explore sample 1, 3, and 5-day itineraries to answer the burning question: how many days in Athens are sufficient? How long should I stay in Athens? Honestly, spending 3 days is enough to see the major attractions, taste the local cuisine, and enjoy the sights. Most cruises only stop for 1 day or really 8 hours, and we personally stayed for 5 days. But here's what I would do if I only had 1, 3, or 5 days. For a 1-day itinerary, this is perfect for cruisers. In the morning, grab a breakfast, grab a Greek coffee, and immediately head to the Acropolis for about a 2-hour visit, followed by the Acropolis Museum, which is another 2-hour visit. In the afternoon, you can casually stroll through the beautiful picturesque Plaka neighborhood and visit the flea market in Monastiraki. Grab a gyro or souvlaki platter for a hearty lunch or dinner. If you have 3 days to spend in Athens, here is my 3-day itinerary. On day 1, do the exact same things I recommended for the 1-day itinerary. But on day 2, add additional historic sites like the Temple of Zeus, the ancient Agora, Hadrian's Library, and the National Archaeological Museum. On day 3, get a hands-on food experience. Go on a food tour, take a cooking class, visit a Michelin-starred dining restaurant on the water or inland. Eat all the food you can. You can also visit Parliament for the changing of the guards and visit the National Garden, or even take a Greek dance lesson. For a 5-day itinerary, you have more time to dig into the city and even take multiple day trips. For the first 3 days, do exactly what I recommended for the 1-day and 3-day itinerary, and on day 4, take a day trip. Go to Agistri, Aina, Meteora, Poros, Hydra, Cyprus, Crete, Naxos, the Monastery of Delphi. Get out and see the surrounding areas. On day 5, you can hike Mount Lycabettus, which has amazing views of the city, and you can watch a performance at the Odeon of Herodotus Atticus, which is an outdoor amphitheater located on the Acropolis. End your night with a rooftop meal or cocktail at the Athens Was Hotel. If you're wondering how else can I plan for my trip to Athens, let me share some bonus tips. Are there any cultural norms or etiquette I should be aware of as a visitor in Athens? Yeah, there is a couple of things. Generally accept food when offered by a host when you're visiting. And if you have any health concerns, alert them. The Greek people are very hospitable. And is there any specific dress codes to follow when visiting religious sites or upscale restaurants? And yes, generally dress on the conservative side and cover your knees and shoulders and any exposed parts for the religious sites. Most of the dress code in Athens is casual, and there's a lot of people who wear blacks and grays. So if you want to blend in, definitely wear darker colors, but generally wear what you'd like. Make sure you wear comfortable clothing that you can walk around all day, and if you're going during the warmer months, the summer is hot, wear your sunblock, bring your shades, and maybe even a hat, and definitely some hair ties. Okay, so are there any other tips that'll help you plan well for your trip to Athens? Absolutely, absolutely. And based on my experience, look before you cross the street because the drivers may not stop. Driving's a little wild. And also look before you flush toilet paper. Yeah, because plumbing is not the best, and it is an ancient city after all. So you may see signs saying, do not flush the toilet paper. If you see the sign that says don't flush and you decide to flush, you can run the embarrassing risk of being mortified while standing over a clogged toilet. So if you see a sign, follow it and throw the toilet paper in the waste bin after you use it. Hotels may not require this, and they didn't at our hotel, but restaurants and other establishments might. Just look for the signs and follow them. There's also graffiti everywhere, and as our tour guide told us, just because there's graffiti around doesn't mean that it's a bad neighborhood. The city was named after Athena, which is a goddess of arts and crafts, so there's a lot of artistic people in Athens, and one of the ways they choose to express themselves is through graffiti. See it, note it, and keep it moving. Another thing you need to know to plan well for your trip to Greece is that there are a lot of cats, a lot of stray, random cats that you will encounter, whether you're eating in an alleyway outside or just walking the streets. There are a lot of cats, and they're pretty harmless. They won't bite you, but they may come up to you and kind of begging for food with their little cat eyes, and it's up to you whether or not you want to feed them. Also, to help you plan well for your trip is to pack light. The streets are not made for luggage, and the traffic is pretty bad, so be prepared to carry your items. You'll also see different types of flooring, like marble to concrete to stone, and it can be really slippery. If you're at the flea market in Monastiraki, you may be able to haggle with some vendors. Don't haggle at, the mall, that's not the place, but you might be able to get a little bit of a discount at the Monastiraki flea market, so definitely try. Don't forget to use cash at the flea markets, and don't touch the items. You can look, but don't touch. The vendors will show them to you, but don't just grab stuff and start doing whatever with it. Smoking is actually really common in Greece, so as you're walking through the cities, don't be surprised if puffs of smoke come at you. Just either wear a mask or just keep it moving, keep walking, and the smoke will go away. Also, watch your step. There is marble everywhere, and we learned from another tour guide that marble is actually cheaper than any other building material. So you'll just walk the streets and you'll see gorgeous marble floors. In the United States, marble is seen as like a luxury and a high-end product, and it's just so funny to see it on the floor with people just walking all over it. I mean, it's durable, it's beautiful, but don't be surprised if you see a lot of marble on the streets, and that's also why I do not recommend wearing any shoes that don't have a grip to it, because once it rains or if it's dewy in the morning, you will slip and fall. So wear those shoes with good grip and admire the marble on the floor. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share it with a friend. If you're looking for food recommendations, tips on visiting the Acropolis, or want to see what it's actually like visiting Athens for the first time and getting around on a budget, check out my Planning a Trip to Athens playlist after this video. If you're excited for your trip and have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've been to Athens, share your experience in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.